GM. GM. Saturday 18th, trade of the day. Two trades. Right, first one. I'm getting long Bitcoin at around 67. So that is, let's just do it here. 67 with a stop loss below 64. So let's call it 63, 900. That's my initial swing trade. So the position I'm building is based on several factors. First, we had our impulsive candle breaking above 64k, which is this structure level, right? Structure level, the last daily candle close, green, before we broke down. We did not reclaim it over here. We pushed into it, but couldn't reclaim it. Dipped back down, consolidated, strong break through it, multiple daily closes. That is now broken. That structure is now flipped bullish. I do not expect price to go below that point if this is continuing as a rally. It might not. We might come back down, but the swing trade I'm taking is based on that. 64k as well is one of the volume areas. So I have to draw a few of these, but from the top to the bottom, we have there. There we go. Right. So basically when we hit all-time high the first time, sold off, all the way until the bottom of the sell-off candle. So the entire distribution from the 73k push to all this consolidation to the breakdown. The POC for that, the point of control of volume, the highest traded area of volume was 64. We flipped that. We have the bands, both the 50 EMA and the daily bands, getting above that level now, especially in another 2 or 3 days, which I expect they will come comfortably above there. So if price drops down, those bands should act as support before we reach it. We have an interim structure level here. I actually don't expect this one, and I'll show you a lower time frame trade after. I don't expect that low to break. Now, on a wick, it might go below the dotted red line, but I don't think we close. I don't think we close below the dotted red line. I don't think we even touch this dotted blue line. So I'm giving myself space for the swing trade. I don't think it even goes below 65, really, if this is going to continue in the strong squeeze that it's in. But giving a bit of extra room. And I will tighten my stop up after. Now this is a higher time frame swing trade. Remember, I'm already long Bitcoin. Spot Bitcoin, spot Akash, spot Bowden, Apu, Trump. I've got all my altcoins, right? Or the majority of them. This is a trade on top. This is a swing trade, probably multi-week hold with a potential for an all-time high breakout. So I'm building it as if it's going to break out from all-time high and go for another leg. But I've said this before. If we only get my minimum expectation, which is a run to the other side of the range, which would just be the red line. If we come to there and we fail it and we reject back inside, I'll then close the swing, right? If we come to like this, I'll close this position I'm opening today and I'll just go back to spot. If it then breaks out and continues, I'll add to the swing trade and I'll move my stop up because the breakout should be valid. So this is a higher time frame swing trade being built based on the idea that we're in an early stage uptrend, based on the idea that we're potentially here, somewhere like that, based on the idea that we're potentially here or here, right? Depending on which. I don't know, maybe we're in this early stage and we do have to push back one more time. Maybe we've already had that and we're pushing up here. But it's all being built under the assumption that the move is starting, not finishing. And everything I wanted to see, positive ETF flows for 4 days in a row, yes. Above the daily bands green, yes. Above the 50, yes. Cleared 64, yes. Broken market structure bullish, yes. So, everything I'm seeing is pointing towards that. Now, resistance areas in between, value area high of this level also lines up with where I would expect resistance around the old all-time high of 2021. So the 2021 69k up as high as 70k. That's an area where I would expect price to slow down. I don't see much resistance between here and there. I actually think that Bitcoin will break out this weekend or Monday. And I think it will move pretty quickly to 70. And I think that's where it gets choppy. If it's going to be bullish, that's probably where it stops to consolidate before a breakout. So that's the trade. That's the swing trade, the higher time frame trade, right? I probably plan to hold this for weeks if it breaks out, or maybe just a couple of weeks. If we do move through to the range high and reject, it'll probably be closed in June at some point. But this is based on daily candles, a daily structure. My entry is exactly 67, so I have a limit order set for us hitting 67, which we will at some point this weekend, I'm sure. And the invalidation is basically 64. So it's about a 3k stop loss to begin with. And the first target would be 75, which is just making a new high, which is around 2.6R. That's fine. But obviously, I'm not even trying to make a huge return on the first part of this trade. It's about getting into a position so that if we do actually break out, and let's say we go to 90, I'm able to add to the position on the way up or on the breakout, move the stops up, right? And be able to have a compounded position plus this position, which moves all the way there. The whole point of this is to build. It's building a bigger position for later. So that's the current play. That's the current approach. I'm not calling for up-only bull run for everything. I think alts are still, a lot of them looking pretty shitty. But I do think Bitcoin has enough momentum to at least get to the other side of the range. Now I'm also going to trade low time frame, the exact same setup, but just in between the levels. So that's the swing trade, right? Done. I'm entering that. Consider that trade entered. I'm long. I'm also going to trade it on the way up because I really think Bitcoin is very bullish here. Everything I've seen is pretty much what you'd want to see. Just almost exactly what you'd want to see. So on the lower time frames, we'll probably go to a fresh chart. And as I look at the 1 hour chart, this consolidation is very nice. It's holding up nicely here. I see no real resistance until about up in this gap here. 70k round number. So I would say, look, to keep it simple, the best target is the 2021 high. I think that is the next real resistance that we have above us if it breaks out of this 67. So on a 4 hour chart, we're consolidating nicely. What I expect to see is probably a touchdown into those bands before running to there. So then on the 1 hour chart, to me that lines up with the 50 EMA. So, and I actually expect us to go up first before down, but I'll show this. You got a flush here, you've got a stop loss, set of stops that could be run there, or just down into a support level there. Now, I actually expect if this is going to move like weekends typically do, is it's going to take out this level or this level first. So we're going to see it move up, then down. Right? So basically I should just draw this fucking path. I think it goes up first, then down like that, and then into this area here. If that happens, then I'll take a long in this area. Once it holds and is starting to rise again, I'll get long there, give my stop comfortably below the 50 EMA on the 1 hour, and targeting this 69k, which is about a 3.7 to begin with. But as soon as it moves in my favor, I'll be able to move the stop up, compound it as well. This is a lower time frame trade. I probably expect this to hit 69 on maybe Monday. Saturday now, chop around into Sunday, and then going into Monday, I think we hit it. That's if Bitcoin is going to continue with this momentum. I talked about it yesterday, upward sloping accumulation. That's exactly what we're doing. It keeps pushing higher and higher and higher and higher. So you can see we've got like this sort of triangle or rising wedge, I should say, going on here. Right, I expect it to drop out of that, trap people, and then push right back through it. It doesn't matter what pattern it's doing. The pattern is the least important thing. The price action is upwards sloping, right? It's not coming up and chopping sideways. It's coming up and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And so when it pushes, basically the simple way I want to explain it, right? Upward sloping accumulation. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? And then it breaks out. There's a bunch of dips in these. This is how it always happens. So you want to be greedy with your trade entry, meaning you don't want to give in to FOMO and get long here. My swing trade, it's fine to get long here because it's a daily chart. If it's with my daily swing trade, I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to wait for 66,400 on my daily swing when it's a trade that could be targeting 75, 80, so on. That would be stupid. Because what if it doesn't come back? Like, that's a genuine concern. What if we just pump straight from here to 70? We could. And I could miss out on my daily swing trade out of being greedy. But with my 1 hour, basically day trade or 2 or 3 day trade, that is where you want to be greedy. You have to time your entry. You have to get a tight invalidation. Because if I FOMO in here, or just enter here, look how shit my risk reward is to my first target. So then you're like, oh, well, it's going to go to 72, but then it's not. Then you're changing the target just to try and get a better risk reward. Instead of just being patient, upward sloping, it always comes back. So we are sloping upwards. We've had the first dip. So it came up and down. It's went up. There hasn't been a dip yet. Not a significant one. There will be some kind of dip to here or somewhere like that. And if there isn't, cool. I don't take the trade. Right? That's the biggest thing that you need to remember and overcome is you don't have to take trades. Sure, you want to, but you don't have to. Upward sloping accumulation. We did it over here. Look how many times there were entries, right? This whole thing was one big upwards sloping accumulation. I talked about this on the day it broke out. I said upward sloping accumulation. What does that mean? It just means it goes up. That's it. It keeps going up. And if you look at it zoomed out, it's just moving up. Now, sometimes it will look messier and choppier, but it's still the same thing. And there were plenty of opportunities here and here, even there, a couple of them over here, to get in on your retests or even reclaims. So that's my play. I have a sense that we hold the 4 hour bands, right? But I will not be entering on the way down. I'll be waiting for it to hold, start to move up, then I'll get in. Because I might even get a lower entry. Maybe it wicks down lower. This is not a trigger to enter. This is just a trigger to consider a trade, right? So I just set an alert. If it comes down into that area, I will say long. But with long, question mark, doesn't mean get long. It's get on the charts, wait for your setup. If it happens, get long. Okay? Good. Done. GM.